with Winona. And I also heard that she got stopped by some police, and that she had a car. I don't know about full, but at least a certain number of civil rights attorneys in the car with her. So I can only feel very happy about that. I know, there's some of the people, and of course, Joe, you're. Can I say that you are, legally trained yourself? Yes.
Well, I'm an attorney. I'm a member of the New York Bar.
Right. So as an attorney, I just feel, what would you say about just the illegal nature of the things that they're doing? Is it legal what they're doing? Is it illegal, or how do you? I mean, I think it's illegal, but it's depending on what are the biggest aspects to you about the law?
Well, I mean the pipeline law, and it's written as critical infrastructure and pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota statute 605, whatever sections.
Right.
It sets forth the penalties for trespassing into their easement. So, but it's gone even further. It gives the employees of Enbridge they are authorized to detain people if people are interfering with their carrying out of their work. They can detain people. They have to call peace officers, and peace officers will deal with them. But the thing that's in there, though, that's really scary is that any Enbridge employee who does that cannot be held criminally or civilly liable for such detainment. So it's pretty broad. I think the legal challenges may bear out that it's not legal. But for right now, that's the law we got to deal with. So our people are under surveillance. We get followed.
Right.
We get low helicopter flyovers. We get drone flyovers. We get slow trucks driving by taking pictures. So there's that aspect to it. They were told by the state of Minnesota not to do the sorts of counterinsurgency work that they were doing out at Standing Rock, but that doesn't mean that they're not.
Right. I want to say, as the daughter of a German Jew, it just makes me think about how everything Hitler did was supposedly legal. So you can make a law, an unjust law of all kinds. But I also think of other laws, like, for example, the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, or all the treaties that have been made. The Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, the UN DRIP, has in there that prior, free, and informed consent needs to be included. Prior, free, and informed consent, that is really, again, a big protection for the earth. But then all of that is ignored, and then they make their own laws that just saying, telling that they can do whatever they want, or arrest people, that employees.
That's basically what they've got. They've got a giveaway of, public lands to a Canadian corporation. And that oil isn't even for use here.
Right. Well, I again, as an attorney, I want to ask you, I know there are some people who, one of them, the Community Environmental Defense Legal Fund or something like that, CELDF or something, and others who are working on the rights of the creation, that people, that the planet has, and the nature has rights as well. So I'm sometimes hopeful that that might help.
If a corporation can have rights, why can't we do the same thing for nature?
Right.
We can give rights to a river,
Right.
rivers. We
Right.
can give rights to lakes that bear wild rights.
Sure.
Well, why is it just the corporations?
Right.
Corporations have more rights than people do.
Right. I mean, wrong. I mean, it's true. What I should say, true. True and so wrong, and so very wrong, and so very misguided, because these people who are, employees and who are doing the bidding and who need a job and all the other things, but when they're not thinking, what are their children going to drink? You can't drink your money that you got from your, job when the water is polluted. I know, again, I think of, the idea that it used to be that you use water to clean a thing, but when the water isn't clean, there's no, what cleaning is going to happen? There's no cleaning. And right.
That sinks to the bottom. The
Mhm.
Kalamazoo River, there's still 150,000 gallons that cannot be cleaned.
150,000 gallons.
It's stuck on the bottom.
Right. And of course, that was Enbridge.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was Enbridge. That was the worst. I think it was the very worst. It was certainly the worst in the United States oil spill that,
Grand Rapids was more. It was 1.7 million.
Really?
But it spilled onto a frozen river, and they basically used squeegees to get it up off the top of the frozen river. But still, you don't know how clean that was.
right. No, it's just so wrong, so crazy, so wonderful. On the other hand, I would say so wonderful to be with people who are so devoted to defend the sacred, to keeping this world, this creation going as originally instructed, to protecting the people and the planet, to putting their lives and their freedom on the line for that, and all the courage and all the.
Well, Vicki, some of us don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other way to look at this,
Right.
I'm not out here doing this for me. I'm out here doing it for my children and my children's children's children.
Right. 7
generations ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And, when it comes down to it, I said that I'd be, when you open the camp, I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
So I've been here, and, I tend to see this thing through.
Right. Right. Well, there's so much to see through, and there's so much work to be done. And a lot of it is there, and a lot of it is that, getting in the way.
And the thing is, people need to understand, not everybody can be a frontliner.
Right.
Not everybody should be.
Sure.
When you come here, you have to come here with humility.
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize and be able to not so much take direction, but to respect the indigenous women here that are leading this movement.
Mm-hmm.
And to just really come with humility and courage and love, and it's not easy. Not a lot of people can do that, and so they don't last.
Right.
I mean, you saw the sign at the gate. Check your ego here.
Right. Right.
A
Right.
lot of people can't do that, and a lot of people can't. it's cold at night. It still gets below freezing, but I don't think we're going to see sub-freezing again. But now we have this muddy, damp mess, which is
Right.
really hard on anyone who has arthritis or joint problems. It's really hard on that, and so if people are thinking of coming here, they really need to be equipped.
Right.
Yeah, they can't come out here without good gear and without good boots, and it's because it's not our responsibility to make sure that somebody's warm and dry. We have elders come that we will certainly do that for, and we have, and we will continue. But even some of the yurt space, we keep that reserved for visiting elders that come.
Absolutely.
And it's essential that we have that for them if they come.
Of course. So there are other ways of helping too, as you say. So, and first of all, there's other ways of coming. For example,
Spread the word. Get the word out.
Yeah, getting the word out. There is no substitute for getting the word out. And I feel encouraged that the word is getting out more, but there's still a lot more getting the word out to go, because there's just so much noise and distraction, so that people don't even realize what's going on sometimes. So it needs to be brought out again and again in so many ways. And there's the publicizing of it, and there's also publicizing about divesting. So just, nagging, harassing, and just insisting again and again to these banks that they have to stop funding this, to our elected officials, that they have to put a stop to this, because they have to protect our very existence, our water and our land, our people and the planet, so though this coming after people, calling and emailing and signing petitions and making petitions and all the things that people can do, so there's so much of that people can do. Some of the funders of Enbridge are, for example, I know Chase Bank is a big one, and Wells Fargo is one I heard. There's some other ones. Do you know?
Well, I'm sure we have a divest page.
Right. So the divest, there's.
I know that Enbridge was saying because of delays that it would be another 1.1 billion. They sought a $1.2 billion loan, which they did not get. They did receive an $800 million loan, a sustainability loan, because they say they're going to use solar to power the pipeline.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Just
why they're talking about sustainability it just defies.
Yeah. So even if you think of it in those terms, they're still 400 million short.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're also saying they're half done with the work that they need to do. But, I think you'll see, if you go out to some of these other places while you're here, that pipe is still above ground. It's still laying there, so it still needs to be done.
Right.
And they're still working on these. They still got 1,000 workers working on these pumping stations.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Well, so another thing that go ahead.
We had people climbing into trenches. People climb on a pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And these very courageous folks.
Right.
Willing to do what it took to stop this madness. And, right. I'll say this: the Northern Lights Task Force, which is comprised of the state police and all the county sheriff department in the north here. What they learned from Standing Rock is get the money up front. So, when you're at an action and they're kettling everybody and they're arresting everybody, well, they were giving out citations. And then you hear the sheriff say to everybody, make sure I get everybody's name of who's here. Because then all those names are submitted to Enbridge to get reimbursed for the time that they were there arresting people. So the local law enforcement is on their payroll.
Right.
That's a real big problem.
Right. Right.
You know, where police are supposed to be impartial. They're certainly not if, you know, you've got the guy in charge saying, make sure I get everybody's name.
Right. Right. Right.
And coming from several counties, you know, so
Right.
that's a real problem.
You're not kidding. And actually, I have to say, I'm very bothered by their calling it the Northern Lights Task Force, when the Northern Lights are a beautiful natural phenomenon that are just beyond compare, and that is just the opposite of what they are.
Well, it's just a name.
Yeah,
to
right.
them, you
Right.
know.
It's ridiculous. It is as ridiculous as they're having a sustainability task force because they're going to use a tiny bit of solar to use
No, they got a sustainability loan.
loan. Oh, okay, loan.
100 million.
Sorry. Even so, again, it's just like the shades of 1984, calling things what they're not, you know, that we've seen so often, so many times, you know, something calling things what they're not. But I want to say, certainly calling things what they are is, I would say, you know, it's certainly the people who are defending the sacred, the people who are working so hard, you know, are very inspiring, are very, as you say, you know, there's different ways of people getting involved. One of the things I want to say about people coming, of course, people can come in the contingent I just came with, we had 10 people come from, you know, Push Buffalo, Mechanesic, Onondowaga Protectors, and the Western New York Peace Center to, you know, to help, to, you know, come help at camp, come help, you know, in different ways, every way we can, including publicizing, just like we are now. And, you know, and we're staying at a very lovely place that is the Big Sandy Lodge. That was your very wonderful suggestion. And so if people have some money to stay in a place, or, you know, there's different places to stay where a person can stay and come out and help in different ways. Or, you know, so there's just a lot of other possibilities.
Yeah, and Vicki, I need to say this too.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's great that you folks have those accommodations. We also need to remember that there are many people that come and they're fighting and they're working with us, and they,
right,
you know, they don't have any of that.
Absolutely. No, I know. And most people can't. We were very blessed that Push actually got a grant for this.
But most of the times in these kinds of fights, the grassroots people are, you know, who are doing most of the fightings are the ones overlooked. So, you know, we need to really think about that.
Oh, absolutely.
If people can direct their resources to some of the smaller camps like Red Lake Treaty Camp or Migazi, or, you know, we do a pretty good job of redistributing here that comes in. You know, we actually
well, Mechanesic is a place that people can contribute, and you know, and that will go straight to other trips. I know, you know, we funded a couple of trips through Mechanesic, so, you know, so there's all different ways.
Yeah, no, I'll say, you know, having people come out here and sit in a room with a wood stove fire playing video games wasn't all that helpful.
No. I hope that didn't happen very often. So anyway, whenever it happens, it's not what's meant to happen. So we're just trying to get them. You know, I think we need such a change of heart in this country where we need to really examine what do we value, what do we cherish, and that defend the sacred is so, to me, so much saying what we need to remind ourselves, what we need to try to do.
In the time I've been here 3 months. And in those 3 months, I found out that I really don't need all the stuff I have at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I need? I've got
Right.
good socks. I've got good boots. I've got good gear.
Right.
And I've got a closet full of clothes I wasn't wearing at home anyway.
Right. Right.
Right. But yeah, when you get into the bare bones of what we're doing here,
Mm-hmm.
really, we're getting by with what we need, not what we want.
Right.
I used to always tell my kids, I said, I always make sure you have what you want or what you need, and we'll work on the wants. And my children understood that I didn't have a lot of money to spend. So, they were happy with the time.
And as far as the wants, I want to say it can be a burden. And I think many people already know that. And in fact, the fact that I brought more stuff than I need, to me, it was like, damn, why did I do that? Because it becomes a burden. It's sort of, sometimes it's fear of the unknown, or I know we knew it was very muddy.
That's what COVID's about. COVID's about taking a break from all that madness.
Right.
And really looking within and seeing, what do you really need?
Sure.
Do you really need that cup of coffee by someone that you don't know whether they're really practicing safe serving methods? Because you don't.
Right. Right.
But you've got these corporations and government officials that are hell-bent on destruction and hanging on as tightly as they can to a dying industry. Because
Right.
the tar sands aren't viable right now.
Right.
So why continue with this pipeline?
They're just trying to get every last dime out of a dying industry that they can possibly squeeze out.
Yep.
Just
Very true.
So very foolhardy and so very costly in every kind of a way. But in the biggest way is Mini Wachoni. Water is life. There's no going back from the polluting. Just like you said, it can't be cleaned up from the water. If we can't have our clean water, and here we are with 40%, 40% of the world's fresh water supply, isn't it, in the Great Lakes system? I want to say, no. I'm second guessing myself. It's no excuse, but I am pretty tired. I'm thinking, is it 20% or is it 40%? It is a monumental. It is 40%. I thought it was 40. 40% of the world's fresh water supply is astronomical. And they're willing to risk all of that and risk it all the people downstream, all the land downstream, what to speak of all the people here in Minnesota, the rice, the aquifer, the land and the plantings, the animals.
It's a busy place.
It is a busy place. I'm sure it is. I'm glad you found a little bit of a spot there. And I will tell people the mud there is like one can barely believe. Sort of. What?
It's boot sucking mud.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Suck the boots right off of you.
Right. It almost did suck the boots right off of me. You have to come with very, very, very solid big boots. No question.
Yeah.
No question. But we do have so much, that we need to do to make sure that things happen the way they need to happen here. I know we've been, trying to publicize this as much as we can. And I do think that more and more people are learning about it, and people who see this video, see it as, whether they see it as a Facebook live stream or hear it on the radio on WBNY.
And the thing that people need to realize, Vicki, is that unlike Standing Rock, where we were talking about one river crossing,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
this is 337 miles of active work on a pipeline, 22 and 67 some river crossings, 22 of them large enough to require this horizontal directional drill, which goes 100 feet under the river.
How many river crossings did you say?
22 require this type of drill. There are total of 67 crossings, some of them small enough they don't need that type of drill.
That is ridiculous. It is just incredible.
And right here at camp, we are 300 yards from the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So Vicki, I got here, we established security protocols,
Mm-hmm.
and we sat out there watching over camp and watching, trucks come 24/7, loaded with huge timbers they use for matting, and then loaded with pipes, and then big drill rigs coming through, and big machines to lay the pipe out. And then I watched it, outside my yard about 150 yards. One night I went out and I got there and I could see the pipe. A couple days later, I could see the pipe had been joined together. A few days later, I could see more equipment coming in, more earth moving equipment coming in, and then I couldn't see the pipe because there were these huge mounds of dirt. A few days after that, the mounds of dirt and the pipe were gone because they had buried it. So they had finished that phase of work, and now they're just waiting, and they have to, it seems now they can't work in the wetland until June. So, it's, but there's still other work going on. And, when I saw that the pipe had been buried, I knew what it meant. And I just had to go lay down in my yurt for a while because it hurt. It hurt like hell. So to sit and watch all those phases of work, it's a hard thing,
Right.
And we've had people climb into the pipes. We've had people lock on the machines. We've had people just stand in front of them, and they kind of, it's almost like they just we slow them down and then they just get right back to work. They've killed people. One of their workers was killed by, got hit with a forklift, and they stopped work for a couple hours and then, probably got the body out of the way and got right back to work. One of their workers went off the road here into a gully, and it's his first day of work. Last day, if wrecked a $90,000 company truck. And I heard that he did go back to Texas.
Right.
Wherever he was from. The man that was killed had 9 children, so here's a guy that needed the money. And we understand
sure.
that. The workers aren't the enemy, but the pipeline is. So if we can educate any of those workers, and there was one of our people that, was down there yelling at the security people, and she opens her window up and says, I got 6 kids.
Right.
So there's people they're faced with a horrible choice. And maybe some of them don't want to be doing what they're doing. Right.
Right.
I will say this, that policing the actions, I haven't seen a tear gas canister yet.
Mhm.
But we certainly have them. You know, Duluth got $90,000 worth of riot gear. One of the other counties sought a reimbursement from Enbridge for $90,000, and they call it personal protective equipment. And they've also submitted a reimbursement for $200,000 in man hours in responding to actions on the pipeline. So, you know, it's I think my battery's going to quit on me soon.
Well, I know it's so difficult, and it's such a heartbreaking situation in every kind of way, as you say. You know, people who don't know another way, either they don't know or understand or don't believe it, or they don't feel they have another choice because they just need to, you know, have a livelihood and support their families. But the treachery at the level of the corporations that are trying to cash in, just it's got to be stopped. It's got
You
to
know,
be.
you folks can call the White House. You can call anybody who's on any kind of
Right.
natural resources committee in the House or the Senate.
Sure.
Call those folks, you know, put pressure on Biden, because, you know, we need him to, you know, he can do the same thing that Obama could have done at Standing Rock, you know, and that is say there they did an inadequate EIS. Here they didn't even do one because it was passed under Trump. So there's certainly grounds to challenge that, and I think there's some of our the Department of Commerce here has an appellate hearing next week, and that's based on the certificate of need for the pipeline was faulty. You know, but there's a lot of things people can do, you know,
Right.
and they can do it from home.
Right. Like you said, people can call all the all your elected representatives, especially the U.S. ones, right? So there are your congresspersons and your senators and Joe Biden and the Department of the Interior. Actually, I'm, you know, thinking with, is it Deb Howland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holland, that, you know, she may be able to help, and maybe, you know, not to put it all on her, but.
The Army Corps is not under the Department of the Interior.
Oh, okay.
The Army Corps is sort of kind of its own little agency.
Mm-hmm.
But they are certainly an executive function, which Biden has control over.
Right. So he would be one of the best places to go, is just to keep telling Biden. So I know I'm going to be tweeting and Facebooking him and writing and calling.
Okay. Vicki, I'm going to go. My phone's going to go.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you so much, Joe. Thank you so much for all your wonderful work and for everything that you are doing and sharing and, you know, and defending the sacred. So we so appreciate you. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You get a good night. What?
We'll be here.
Yep. We'll see you then. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Let's go.
Now we. Miigwech.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to also ask, we do have Lori Seneca here, who I think she's coming over. So Joe, as he's disconnecting, now we've been here, I'm here. You can sit here right next to me. Oh, thank you. You want to say hi to Lori before you sign off, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
He's looking.
I'm trying to figure out how to sign off.
Yeah, I know. It takes a while to figure it out sometime. Yeah.
An hour for everything.
Yes.
Oh, man. I'm just trying to get
Let's go ahead. We'll let you go. You just keep going on leaving. And meanwhile, we have Laura here. And we'll see you tomorrow. Sleep well. Now,
Bright and early.
Okay.
yes, bright and early.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are so grateful I'm so grateful to Lori Seneca, who is also here, who's here from the Onondowaga the Onondowaga Protectors, right.
Right.
And so we have her here with her daughter Cheyenne, who's also a wonderful person. You can, yes, come around. We've been, we're having our little powwow here ourselves. Can we say that?
No.
No, okay, sorry, it's not that. But we are having a little gathering and we can talk a little bit about what's going on here.
Do you want to start your second show now?
I think we can finish this show just a little bit, and then we might have them join us for the second show.
Okay.
But we still have, it's only been 52 minutes, so we're grateful that we have them here to talk with us, and then we'll have other people joining us for the second show. But we're grateful and glad to be here. I'm glad that Joe was able to spend so much time, and I'm glad to be here with the two of you who share so much and who I learn so much from every day. So why don't we, we are physically distancing, so I'm a little over here. So, and we're being careful. We've been being very careful, although I must say that we have also been together quite a bit. Most times with masks, but this is a great big room with good ventilation. So don't you worry about that. Anyway, so what would you say for you? What are you feeling about this trip so far?
Oh, I think it's amazing how everybody comes together and to fight the same thing that we're so against.
Mm-hmm.
And water's life.
Yes. Mini Wachoni. Water is life.
Right.
Yeah.
Joni.
Yeah. So it's the same story I feel like, there was the Standing Rock. And of course, Lori, you were there at Standing Rock.
I was there for a little while. I was there for a week at Thanksgiving time before the veterans came in.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't do any direct actions at that time. But we did hear the helicopters flying over and stuff like that.
Right. So what did your mom have to say about it when she came back from Standing Rock? Cheyenne?
Just showing pictures of how crazy it was, talking about sleeping in the cold temps.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how cold you were saying it was.
Negatives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Negatives. -20s.
-20.
Were you camping in tents then? Or?
Down there, we
sure.
were in a teepee with a very small wood stove.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a buddy heater.
Mm.
Yeah, it was cold.
But it's back to what Joe was saying, what are the choices? So the choices are, if we want, I always think of so many indigenous phrases that I hear for life to continue, for people to follow the instructions so that life will continue in this creation. Then the choices, there is no choice. It's just what needs to be done for that to happen means doing what we can do, finding a way, and what we can do and when we can do. There's some choices there to try to figure that out. But there's so much that needs to be done.
We need more manpower.
Yeah, we need more help. It's not, even though indigenous people are really leading the fight because they really have so much clarity on the importance of the sustainability and everything. The fight is for all of us, because we will all pay the price when there's no water, when there's no water to drink. That we were just saying today, you can't drink money. You can't drink oil. There's no choices there. It's everybody's fight. So,
Right.
Yeah, we have a lot that we have to do. And there are so many ways of doing it. So coming here, more person power here isn't important, but also some of the things we talked about is publicizing at home. Tell your friends, tell your family. Do they know about it? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. And very often people don't, because there's so very much going on that people may not know about it. You know?
Gotta educate,
Yeah, educating people.
educate, and just keep spreading the word.
Right.
Get it out there.
And also going to the decision makers. So that means the bankers, the funders, you know, divest Enbridge, divest Line 3. You know, you can find those on Honor Earth. Honor Earth is Winona LaDuke's page, Honor the Earth. And they have all kinds of information about divestment. And so those things, whether it's divesting or, you know, again, trying to get President Biden to shut it down. He shut down the Keystone Pipeline. He could shut down this pipeline.
That's
So-
what we're here for. We want to shut down.
Right. It has to be shut down. And that means totally. So that, and cleaning up the one that's already in the ground leaking. That one has to go also. So that's the existing Line 3. It has to be cleaned up. This is not, and not laying a new one. It just has to be shut down.
That's so sad that they don't have to clean up their mess, their own mess.
Well, that's just a travesty, and that is generally the way. But anyway, so we're going to be speaking of shutting down, this hour.
Yes.
I think you've lucked out, because I can say all of us are quite tired here, because we've been working hard on putting up tents and getting things done and just getting
Firewood.
here. And
Stacking firewood.
And stacking
Yeah,
firewood.
did that quick.
Yeah, yeah. And putting the word out, plenty of putting the word out. Some of you have seen that. Help us do it.
Many hands make light work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So help us do it. Help share this, tell people about it. And use the hashtag StopLine3, defend the sacred. And we're all in this together. So yeah, so we have been, here. Yeah, we have everybody. Yes. I can't even see what we're looking at. Anyway,
My
so
water
we're
protectors.
going to stop Line 3, and we have been together. We are talking peace in truth and love. Thank you so much. Miigwech, Nyawe.
No.
Okay, so thank you. So this has been the edition on Facebook of Talking Peace. Thanks.
Okay, I signed you off the air.
Good. Great.